No, of course. Hey, we are live. Another episode of Extra Innings. Got a lot to get into. We got some major changes from last week. I know I got my man Cowboy Dave on with me. What's up, Dave? How you doing?
What's up, Joey? How you doing, baby? Let's go.
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing real good, and it's funny because like we said, man, baseball can change very quickly. I mean, we were on these airwaves last week, and New York Yankees were kind of struggling a little bit. Well, they were over 500, but they were like second to last place.
Yep.
St. Louis Cardinals were struggling. But both those teams both had a great week. The Cardinals went 7-3, and the Yankees went 8-2. And looking at it, the reigning AL MVP, Aaron Judge, absolutely tearing the cover off the ball.
Killing it. He's killing it. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
and Yankees getting hot too. Look out.
They are. Aaron Judge in an 8-game stretch was hit 299. I'm sorry, that's for the whole year. Well, for the whole year, he's hitting 299, 13 bombs, 32 RBIs. But in particular, on this 8-game stretch, 14 for 31, 7 homers, 16 RBIs.
Wow.
Just tearing the cover off the ball.
Amazing. And like we said before, and we said that the same thing last week too, if I recall, we were saying that the American League East, every team is still over 500. This is insane.
Well,
I mean, between the Rays, Orioles, and Yankees, my God, they're only 6 games within 6 games of each other. It's crazy.
Yeah, well, it's funny to touch on that. Well, actually, the Orioles and the Yankees are actually playing tonight.
Yes,
but you look. I mean, we'll get into some standings here. But to touch on what you just said, American League East, you got the Tampa same. This is where it's the same theme as last week. I mean, you got AL East, you got the Rays 35-14. Now they were only 5-5 in their last 10. Unfortunately for us Phillies fans, the Mets took them out. 2 out of 3, I think.
2 out of 3. Yep, they did. Yes.
Yeah, and that's another guy. There must be something in the water up in New York because Pete Alonso is hitting some serious.
He started to get hot. His bats started to get hot all of a sudden. It's this is what the Mets do though. We've seen this before.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say Alonso's got 17 homers right now. He leads. He leads the. He leads all baseball with 17. So he's tearing the cover off the ball. But to get back to this American League East, I mean, you got the Rays, 35-14. Now the Orioles, unbelievable. Orioles went up to Toronto. Now Toronto's got a nice squad. Well, Orioles went up to Toronto and swept them. It's
crazy. But going back to the Rays, what you were just saying, Joe, do you believe that their home record is 22-4? That is incredible.
I know it's great.
That's insane to me. I mean, come on, And nobody goes to these games. That's what I don't understand. I can't figure this out. Like they can't get a full crowd, but yet they're 22-4 and 35-14. That's crazy. I mean, at home. Sorry.
It's funny you mentioned that because I'm in a chat and Bill Furman. He's on the college show with us sometimes. And Bill Furman posted in the chat that he lives in the Tampa Bay area.
Hey, I've heard that. I did hear that. Yeah.
Either Tampa Bay or Clearwater, I forget, but. Anyway, he had a picture of the game, and for 35-14 team, there's like nobody there. So it's not like they're winning those games at home because of a great home field advantage.
Well, that's for sure. And what the funny part is, when people go down to Florida, they retire. They really don't care about sports back down there. But what kills me is Florida. Like I'm saying, the Rays are playing really well, and these guys got the Miami Heat. They're playing really well. Florida's just having a great time down there. My gosh, it's crazy.
Yeah, how about the Florida Panthers in hockey too?
Isn't it crazy? I'm telling you, live down there, man. Your sports are crazy down there.
Yeah,
Wow.
got a comment here. Here's Sean Kilrain. You could check Sean out on the on actually on the college football show on this network, and
Mhm.
also well, shoot, what am I saying? The Sully Squad's on this
I was
network.
just going to say he's on the Sully Squad with you, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you could check Sean out on my show on Monday nights, or our show Monday nights, 6 p.m.
Mhm.
Sully Squad. And if anybody out there is a huge football fan, check it out. We had the Hall of Famer Ray Dininger on last night. It was
You know what, Joe? I actually watched your whole interview with Ray Dinger. That was incredible. I'll tell you, that guy has so much knowledge. It's incredible what he remembers. I mean, what a Hall of Famer! Wow, I
yeah.
was impressed. I really was.
Yeah, he's like the guy. We call him the Godfather of Philly football.
That he's definitely that. He was talking to my man Romo last night, saying Romo's not a Hall of Famer. I was like, what? His numbers are amazing. I was like, oh, come on, yeah. But I see where he's going. I see the point, but
Yeah,
it is what it is.
We got Sean Kilrain here. He says, "What's up, guys? I'll tell you one thing. This Corbin Carroll has some wheels. Yeah, that's true.
No doubt. Yep, this is true.
And then Sean says, "Sign me up for the $12 ticket." Well, yeah, hey, yeah. I mean, what? Yeah, how do you get $12 tickets in professional sports anymore?
You know what? Probably down in Florida, you could. I'm sure you could, because nobody goes to those games anyway.
I know, isn't it funny how, like, Florida, I mean, I don't exactly think of Florida as like a hotbed for like passionate sports fans, but yet they're so successful.
It's amazing. Like you said, Panthers, you said the Heat, and you got the Rays playing well. Yeah, then next thing you know, we'll see the Dolphins in there somewhere too.
Yeah, well, hey, you know what? If Tua could keep his head on straight, yeah, they could.
And watch Tampa come back and do something, because they don't have Brady anymore. But
yeah, here's Miko Spencer here. He says, "Hell, you can't even get $12 Pirates tickets." Wow, yeah, that's
wow.
True. I mean,
well,
you know what's funny? The Pirates have been struggling for so bad. You know what? They don't do the paper tickets anymore. Like, if we went back in the day, people would use the paper tickets as like bicycle, like put them in the bicycle spokes one day.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like today, everything's technology. I mean, you're on your phone. I mean, your tickets are on your phone, and nowadays, I mean, back then the tickets were just like a piece of paper. You said, "There you go." They don't do it anymore.
I know. You know what though? I maybe this kind of I don't know if this makes me seem like kind of a dork, but like honestly, I used to save my ticket stubs.
I did too. Actually, it's funny because Amanda and I went to game, I believe it was game 6 of 2000 the World Series, with the Phillies won in 08.
Yeah.
Remember, it was a rain out, if you remember correctly.
Yes.
Right. Well, we went to the next game where they started in the 7th inning. I believe it was the 7th or 8th inning, and we saw 2 innings of the World Series. And that's when they came back and won the whole thing. And but it was that day was just that was incredible. That day, unbelievable.
Oh yeah.
But it rained the night before, and we just got lucky that she babysat for somebody, and we kind of got 2 tickets on the fly, so it kind of worked out.
Yeah.
But
well, you know what, and real quick, and what was really cool about that too was the fact that they did restart the game, and I think it was the 6th inning, possibly
6th or 7th inning. Yeah, I remember.
But it was something like that. But the game, if you remember, the game actually ended around like 9:45-ish or whatever. So we all went to like Frankfurt and Common, partied our ass off, but the party started at like 9:46. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, bro hit that big double, and the place went nuts.
Oh yeah. Sean Kilrain, nah, you're a dork. It's the memories of going to the game. Something had to happen, P. Something had to. Oh yeah.
Of course.
Shoot. Phillies tied it at 3-3.
Oh, right. Wow. See? There you go.
Yo, hey, Miko Spencer, maybe we won't. Maybe we don't have to call you John Lieb. and it's funny. Like we'll get into some prospects later, but to touch on Sean's point about Corbin Carroll, and he's got some wheels. Well, he's one of the prospects that I want to discuss a little later, because the Arizona Diamondbacks are playing some great baseball, and right now not only does he have speed, but he's hitting 275 with 7 homers, 16 RBI. So he's a real quality young player, and one of the reasons why they're playing some really good baseball.
And it's funny because the Diamondbacks are sitting at 28-20 right now in the West, and they're only a game and a half behind the Dodgers. So they are playing really well, though.
Now, this would have been more funny. Sean said, I meant to say you're not a dork. My bad. That's all right. That's all right. You know what? Sean's a fellow dork with me because, one thing, Dave, you probably know this, but I think you probably heard me say this. Me and Sean go way back. I mean, like Sean used to, we grew up together, and he lived right around the corner from me, and we used to run all the time. And Sean and I watched many a game together. In fact, I remember he was at my house. My grandfather was there too, because we're Notre Dame fans, obviously.
Sure. Yep.
So he was at my grandparents' house. The famous Chris Collingsworth quote, where he said, "Move over Montana" with Ron Pallas, like a second start.
Right.
Yeah, Chris Collingsworth's a very talented guy, but he was really wrong there.
Wasn't he a Cincinnati Bengal, if I'm not mistaken?
Collingsworth, yeah, but Collingsworth was a he was with those well, actually he was with both their Super Bowl teams. Did he
play with Boomer?
He played with Boomer. He actually started off in the early 80s. He was on the Kenny Anderson team that lost to the Niners the first time, and then he was on Boomer's team that lost to the 49ers the second time too.
Gotcha. I thought he played with Boomer. I wasn't sure. I knew he was a Bengal, but I didn't know his whole story.
Yeah. So, but anyway, you know what? Though,
but getting back to what you were saying, going back to the NL Central, I think that's where we were.
AL East.
AL East. I'm sorry. I thought we were there. My fault. Okay. Okay. But yeah, I can't believe. What was I going to say? The Yankees are just like, I mean, they're doing their thing, and the Red Sox are doing their thing, and just that that division is just rolling right now.
Yeah. So well, it's funny. So you got Tampa Bay 35-14, the Orioles 31-16. The Orioles would be in first, basically second best record in baseball. Who would have thought that? Baltimore Orioles. I mean, they have
sitting at 31-16. Who would have thought?
And any other division, they're in first place. Well, this division, they're still 3 games out.
This is true.
Yankees 29-20. Again, we mentioned 8-2 in their last 10. Judge is on fire.
Yep.
Red Sox 26-22, very respectable. They're 8.5 games out. And then you got the Blue Jays 25-23. Tons of talent, but struggling a little bit. They're only 3-7 in their last 10. But they got going on that team.
But going back to the Red Sox, they're 11-11 on the road. Is that kind of like 500?
Yeah, you know what though? If you think about it, if you can play around 500 ball on the road, I mean, Boston's always going to be tough at Fenway Park, even when they stink. So if they could play around, what do you think? What do you got? 81 road games, 81 home games, right? So say you're around 41, 42 wins on the road. If you could go 20 over 500 at home, or say
that's
so say you go like 15 to 20 over 500 on the road, that's a good season.
That's respectable. Absolutely.
At home, I mean, at home.
To at home, yeah. I mean, at home, the Sox are 15-11 at home, but they're 11-11 on the road.
Yeah.
Right. But to me, that AL East is still up in the air, Joe. Really, seriously, when you think about it, I mean, the Orioles are only 3 games back from the Rays. I mean, they could catch them.
Oh yeah, well, it's a long season. I mean, hey,
it's a lot, right?
I was gonna say the Yankees could still win that division by the time.
This is true. Good point.
We already got Judge is already on fire, and it's May. It's not even hitting season. Imagine.
I know. That ball's going to travel in July.
So, all right. So that's the AL East. That's the best division in baseball by far.
Yep.
AL Central. AL Central is weak. I mean, you got the Minnesota Twins. They're the only team over 500. They're 25-23.
Yep.
Detroit Tigers next, 21-24. That just goes to show you sometimes it's the luck of the draw when it comes to divisions. I mean, you're Tigers, you're 2.5 games out. Meanwhile, if you were in the AL East, you'd be like 13 games out already.
This is true. Yeah.
I'll tell you,
I mean,
one of the most disappointing teams in Major League Baseball right now is the Cleveland Guardians. It's 21 and 26. I mean, a lot of
mhm.
people had them pegged to make a step up this year.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
But
But
it is a little early. I mean, I kind of think the Guardians could possibly be this year's Phillies. You know the Phillies were 21 and 28 when they had Girardi, and then they got hot. I feel like I still think the Guardians could win that division.
I'm not going to go there. I don't think so. I'm going to stick with the Twins. I still think the Twins have that. I think it's their division to
Okay.
win. Because I mean, right now you look at the Guardians. They're 21 and 26. They're 10 and 12 on at home, and they're 11 and 14 on the road. I don't know. Like maybe they could. I'm not saying you're wrong, but I just think the Twins. I think the Twins are just going to roll with that division. I think it's going to stay the way it is. I'll keep it at that.
Okay.
Yeah, I just do. Yeah, I mean the White Sox, the Royals. Well, God
They
forbid.
both blow.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, the White Sox 19 and 30. I mean, the way they're going, they'll be sellers at the trade deadline. Kansas City Royals, I mean, 14 and 35. I mean, people in Kansas City are already waiting for the Chiefs.
it blows my mind. Like, how's this team 14 and 35? I mean,
They suck.
you're young. I get it. You're going to get more prospects next season. You'll have a nice what do you call it? Draft pick, I'm sure. So that's probably what they're waiting for.
Yeah, Miko Spencer with the comment here. He says that division is wide open. Fourth place is only 6 games back, and they're playing bad ball, catch fire, and you could win that AL Central. Yeah, well, definitely. I mean, like I said, the Guardians 3.5 out. They're only, but all right. So we go to the West now.
I'm sticking with the Twins in that division. That's just me. But
Okay, hey, I have no argument. I could see that. AL West. You know what? The AL West is another tough division. Not as strong, not as strong top to bottom as the AL East, but arguably, I mean, the Astros. They're the defending world champions.
They're getting hot at the right time, Joe. I'm telling you.
I was going to say you got the Texas Rangers 29 and 18, first place. Now they're a respectable 6 and 4 in the last 10. Well, the Astros are only a game out. 28 and 19, one game out. They're 9 and 1 in their last 10, so they're getting hot.
That's crazy. Not yet. Astros getting hot. Alvarez is killing it, man. You killing me? Unbelievable.
He is. And then you got the Angels. The Angels are hanging in there. They're 26 and 23. They're 4 out. They're 5 and 5 in their last 10. They're respectable. They're playing well.
And they're 13 and 13 on the road too.
Yeah. Well,
give them that.
Like we always say, and I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. You got 2 of the best players in baseball. You should be winning. Right?
It's amazing. 2 of the best players in baseball, Joe, but yet they're sitting in that third. I don't get it. How is it? I mean, Ohtani is he's on another level. This guy, it's amazing to me what this kid can do.
It's crazy. And then you got we got your Seattle Mariners, because I know you're high on them. They're 23 and 24, 6 games out, 5 and 5 in their last 10. But I agree with you, though. I think that Mariners team has a lot of talent, and I could see them making a run. They have that kid Rodriguez from last year.
Yep.
And they got a lot of good players on that team.
Well, if you remember last season, they made a run to that wild card spot, if I'm not mistaken, and they went. Yeah, I mean they were fun to watch. Like it could come in September and October. They were good. They were fun to watch. They really were. And
then you have the Oakland, possibly future. The Oakland A's 10 and 39. I mean, gone are the days of Mark McGwire, Jose Canseco, Ricky Henderson, Corny Lansford with the cool ass mustache. Remember Corny Lansford?
Yeah, I do. Yes, I do. Tony La Russa was a coach at the time, if I'm not mistaken.
What's that?
Said Tony La Russa was their coach, wasn't he?
He was, yeah. Tony La Russa, yeah. Tony La Russa, longtime A's manager. Yeah. And I'll tell you, as a kid, the Phillies stunk. I used to like those A's teams. You know what I mean? Like I loved watching the Bash Brothers, man. They were fun.
Wasn't Reggie Jackson an A too at the time?
Not Reggie Jackson. No, who was on that team? Dave Henderson.
I'm not saying he was on the team. I'm saying Reggie was an A at one point, wasn't he?
He was what?
Didn't Reggie play for the A's at one point in his career?
Oh yeah, he did it in the 70s before he went
Yeah,
to the
right.
Yankees.
Exactly. That's what I thought.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Ironically, what's ironic? Reggie Jackson actually retired. I think he retired with the California Angels.
That's right.
He was on that '86 team that blew the 3-1 lead to the Red Sox.
That's right. Good
And
point.
tragically, I mean, it just goes to show you, I mean, it's really a shame what happened, but Donnie Moore wound up committing suicide. He gave up that big homer to Dave Henderson.
I remember.
And, that was a tragic story, but Reggie Jackson was on that team.
But going back to the A's, didn't the A's and Giants didn't have the earthquake that year? Wasn't that the World Series?
1989. Yeah, that was the Bay Area earthquake. Yeah,
I remember that.
I remember
they stopped the game, Joe. Remember they stopped the game because of the earthquake and everything, and everybody was like, "Oh my god!"
What actually, it actually never started. I remember they went to the pregame show, and Al Michaels was talking, and next thing you know,
that's right.
Al Michaels was talking, and you just kind of heard like, "Oh, I think we have an earthquake going on," and then I actually have because I used to collect baseball cards when I was a kid, so I have like two like what do they call them, like commemorative plaques of like the earthquake world, like the A's and the Giants from that series.
Wow, that's oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Yeah, that was something. But boy, great A's teams, and that was.
Was Ricky? Ricky was on that team, wasn't he?
He was, yeah. Ricky, yeah, Ricky Henderson, Ricky Henderson. Yeah, I mean, you look at that lineup. I mean, you had Ricky Henderson, you had Carney Lansford at third base. You had, of course, you had Dave, what's his face, Jose Canseco,
McGuire,
Dave Henderson. Who was a really underrated player for that A's team, particularly in 1989, was Tony Phillips. Tony Phillips was a really quality player. He did a lot of really good things well. And then you had Dave Stewart and you had Bob Welsh as
Dave Stewart. That's right. Stewart was a starter. I recall. Yeah, was he their ace?
He was. Dave Stewart was their ace, and then I think the last year of their dynasty, although they only won one World Series, but the last year of their dynasty, Bob Welsh, I believe, was the quote unquote ace. He won like 20 some games or something like that.
Oh, now you're taking me back now, Joe. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm trying to remember what's going back there.
Well, for any A's fans out there, you have to take it way back, because right now you're in the pit of misery. I mean,
this is true. This is true. Yes.
I mean, if I'm an A's fan, I'm going back and I'm getting out my VCR and watching those teams before I'm watching this garbage.
Was that was the '89 team, right? If I'm not mistaken.
'89, yeah.
All right, Joe. I was a freshman in high school. Come on.
Yeah, I was 11, dude. Yeah,
there you go.
Same deal. We're going back. Matches Malone with a comment here. He says Dave Stewart used to scare the crap out of me. Yeah, that's one thing I always remember. Dave Stewart had that. He had that stare. He had that
stare. Yeah, right.
He had that glare. And as a Phillies fan, Dave Stewart, very. He's one of those guys you watched and you realize, he was in the Phillies farm system.
I didn't even know that. I had no idea about that.
Back in the '80s, the Phillies screwed up. Phillies screwed up so much. I mean, they got rid of Ryan Sandberg. They got rid of
that's right.
Another guy the Phillies had, George Bell. Remember George?
Yes.
Bell? The Phillies got rid of him. In the Von Hayes trade, they got rid of, I believe they got rid of Julio Franco. Now Franco had a great career too.
Who'd they get rid of for the Ivan De Jesus trade? What was that about?
That I don't totally remember. I know Larry. I think Larry Bow. You know what? I think that was Larry Bow and Ryan Sandberg. I think.
Okay, maybe.
I think I could be wrong, but yeah, the Phillies, and then of course, back in that time too, the ultimate was drafting Jeff Jackson ahead of Frank Thomas. I mean, that was pretty. That was a nice hit too.
Hey, it happens.
Yeah, but I missed the comment. I just wanted to Mako Spencer here. Ohtani, I love, but honestly, I feel bad for him on that team. His talent is a waste. He's going to make $50 million a year on that next contract. Yeah. I feel bad for him too, but let's keep it real. It's kind of hard to feel bad for somebody that's going to make $50 million.
I don't feel bad for a guy that's making that kind of money. No way.
Yeah, I mean, something. Yeah, I mean, he ain't struggling to meet. What's that saying? He ain't struggling to meet and make ends meet. The ends are meeting like MFer. You know what I'm saying?
This is true. Yep. But
got another one here.
I mean, a guy that can play two positions. It's
it's
amazing.
unbelievable.
Oh, it's incredible. But go ahead.
Matches Maloney or me and my buddies would try to pitch like Dennis Eckersley side-armed. Yeah.
Dennis Eckersley was a wild dude, man. He was kind of one of those guys where you just didn't know where the ball was going to leave his hands. You didn't know where it was going to go.
He was unbelievable, and the classic case of sometimes it pays to experiment with guys. I mean, if you remember, Dennis Eckersley was a starter with the Red Sox.
Would you compare Dennis Eckersley to Randy Johnson by any chance? Kind of like the same kind of pitcher?
Well, I mean, I don't know, because Randy Johnson threw so hard. Eckersley relied more on movement, didn't he?
I thought he was a kind of wild guy. Wasn't he kind of wild?
Yeah, a little. I mean, no, maybe. But the bottom line is Eckersley just got it done. I mean, the only time I really remember anybody really getting Eckersley was the Kirk Gibson home run.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Good point.
Good
point. Yep.
I mean, Eckersley was, and you know what? It's ironic that we're talking about him, because at the end of the show, we are actually going to Dave had a great idea. We're going to get into the top five? The
top five closers. Yep.
Yeah, the top 5 closers of Major League Baseball. So speaking of closers, we're going to get into that. And Eckersley was like Mariano Rivera before Mariano Rivera. Now, Eckersley was great, but let's keep it real. I think Mariano was the greatest closer I've ever seen, but Eckersley was really good. No
doubt. I was a big. I mean, there was a lot of good closers back in the day, if you remember correctly. I mean, we had a lot of good ones.
And how about the songs too? Like Mariano coming out to Mariano's song. How about Trevor Hoffman coming out? Did he come out to Enter the Sandman?
Yes. Yep. He did. Yeah. Trevor Hoffman. There's a name. God.
Trevor Hoffman was great. He was a great
unbelievable.
Remember you had Lee Smith. I remember
not Lee Arthur Smith. Let's go. Get him.
Yeah. And I remember the 93 Phillies. Lee Arthur Smith was so good. Remember that, was it Mother's Day? I think Mariano Duncan.
I was there at that game, Joe. I was at that game with my mom. I took my mom to that game. Mariano Duncan hit a grand slam. Yep.
Wow. Well, you know what? I want to get the old. Hey, what's up, Mike? Here's our man, Mike Lauro. You can check Mike out on Thursday nights on the
Mike
podcast, and he's also on the Edge of Philly network on Sunday mornings with Pat Bernard on PM in the AM. So check him out.
PM in the AM.
Yep. But I wanted to say this. I'm hoping my uncle, because my uncle's had a lot going on, but we want to get the old school back, and the old school will be coming the Out of Box network too. So that's another show that's going to be coming on. There's all kinds of things happening on Out of the Box.
We're just rolling. We're rolling.
Well, and to say we think outside the box. We're going to, or the next old school game old school show we're going to do is we're going to do the 93 Phillies.
I'm excited.
And I'm going to, I had Kevin Stocker on the Sully Squad about a month ago.
Okay.
So can't promise anything, but I'm going to try to reach out to him to see if he would be interested in doing the 93 Phillies.
Perfect. Great team. Actually, I was at Kevin Stocker's first game as a Philly, and the game went 20 innings, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It did. Yep, I was there.
He did touch on that. Yeah, in fact, he had a great story. He said he grounded out multiple times, and then after the game, like Boa and was the why am I drawing a blank on the match? Fergosi. They were all
Fergosi.
So he said they were all sitting there in their underwear, and after the game, like they're all exhausted, and they're showing them batting stances because they're like, no, here's what you could do, and then he said the next game he had a couple hits. But
Joe, 4:45 in the morning. Okay,
I know, isn't that crazy?
And Dykstra hit a double in the 20th, scored Kruk from second. The Phillies won the game because Mitch blew the save in the 8th or 9th. I think it was 9th inning, and then because remember who was it? This left fielder for the I think it was. Okay, Sheffield, Gary Sheffield.
Oh yeah,
Everything,
there you go.
yeah, there we go. Gary. But go ahead.
No, I hear you, man. But we got touching Johnson comment. He said Randy wasn't a true blue side armor like Eck. Randy was very accurate once he started rolling in Seattle. I think Eck also won a Cy Young. I could be wrong. No, I think you're right. Eck won it as a closer.
Yep.
I think he may have won it in like 90, 91, I think possibly.
Was it? He was either 9 or 91. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure.
And you know what? I was wrong. You know what? I stand corrected. It was Mariano had to enter the Sandman. Mike Laura was Mike. That's Mike's correct. Hell's Bells for Hoffman. Yeah,
for Hoffman. True. Okay, that's right, Mike. Okay,
Mike Laura with another one. This was a good one too. Remember Doug Jones? The Phillies had Doug Jones the year after 94. They got Doug Jones.
Okay.
And it's ironic because I don't know if they played the song, but that was right around the time where they used to have that Mr. Jones, let me, na, 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 you know what I mean?
It's Counting Crows, right?
Counting Crows, yeah, that's it. I was calling a blank, yeah. Yeah, Matches Malone, Hoffman came out to Hell's Bells, and Mariano came out to Enter the Sandman. And then Mike Laura was there too. He said, I was at that game for the Dodgers in the doubleheader versus San Diego that ended 4:45. Well,
Mitch Williams hit.
Yeah, well, that was a famous Harry Kalas saying, Harry Kalas call where he goes, Mitchie Poo, with the big hit.
Yep.
So, all right, well, let's move on to the National League. But you know what, though? Before we do, let's get one of our sponsors up here.
Yes, I agree.
All right. So, any coffee fans out there, make sure you check out Monkey Cult Coffee. They are expanding all over the place here. Make sure you check them out. You could use the promo code OOTBS Sports at monkeycultcoffee.com at the checkout, while owner Matt donates 10% of each sale to the National Pediatric Foundation at nationalpcf.org. So make sure you check them out. They do a great job. So anyway, all right. So let's
go get your Monkey Cult coffee, everybody.
Exactly, and tell them that the boys from Xtra Innings sent you.
Yep.
All right. So let's get into the National League here. You know what's funny is like I like totally I start thinking about the old school stuff and I totally lose train of thought. You know what I mean?
I'm the same way. I can't help myself.
Right.
Dude, there's one team that sticks in my mind. I can't. I mean, I know I'm a Phillies fan. I love the Phillies, but that '86 Mets team just always sticks in my mind for some reason. I can't get it out. I don't know why. Because that team was so good.
Well, let's be honest. I mean, as even as a Phillies fan, I mean, real. What's the saying? Real recognize real. You know what I mean? Like you recognize talent. Like I mean. That '86 team, you had Doc Gooden, you had Sid Fernandez, you had
Ron Darling was a starter back then.
Yeah, I mean that team was unreal. Then you had
I love their closer, Jesse Orozco. Jesse Orozco was.
Jesse Orozco. You had what's funny too? That team had Kevin Mitchell before he was.
Yes.
Because if you remember. Kevin Mitchell was pretty good on the Mets, but he went to the Giants a few years later. He was like MVP Kevin Mitchell.
And Gary Carter was his catcher too.
Yeah. Well, and how could you forget Keith Hernandez? First off, hey, Seinfeld knew all about Keith Hernandez. Remember that Seinfeld episode?
I do. Yep. Hey, Wally Backman was on that team too.
Yeah. Well, Howard Johnson. Everybody remembers Strawberry and for good reasons, but Howard Johnson used to hit you 35, 40 bombs too.
Mookie was on that team too. Don't forget about Mookie.
Yeah, and but you know what's funny? So we're getting in the National League, and you look at the National League East. National League East might be the most disappointing division so far, other than the Atlanta Braves, right? Because coming into this year, I think a lot of us thought it could be a 3-horse race. And it still might be.
It still can be.
But the Braves are the only – and another thing, too, we were touching on the 93 Phillies. Well, how could I think of the '93 Phillies without thinking of the Braves? I mean, that was
Yeah.
a great Braves team that year,
I mean,
and the Phillies,
Clavin, Maddox. Oh my gosh, that team was
John
insane.
Smoltz, Steve
John
Avery,
Smoltz.
yeah. I
Yep.
mean, remember they got the crime dog, and they remember they were down 10 games to the San Francisco Giants. They got the crime dog, and they just literally took off.
Chipper Jones too. Don't forget about him.
Yeah, unreal. But anyway, great. You got the Braves 29-18. They're in first place. They're 4.5 games up on the Mets. The Mets are 25-23. Now, the Mets actually made up 3 games on the Braves because the Braves were only 4-6 in their last 10, and the Mets went 7-3. So, like I touched on earlier, the Mets took 2 out of 3 from the
Well, it's funny because last week's show, if you remember, the Marlins were ahead of the Mets as of last week, and the Mets jumped up. So, I'm just saying, if I'm not mistaken, I think weren't the Marlins in second place, and the Mets were in third.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to say the Mets have overtaken the
right.
Matches Malone here, touching on the Seinfeld reference. He says, "Gotta run." It was Roger McDowell on the Gravely Road on the Gravely Road that spit on Kramer and Newman. Ha ha ha.
Well, Roger McDowell was a Philly. He came to the Phillies at one point too, if you guys remember correctly.
Yeah, he did. Well, he came over with Dykstra.
Right, him and Dykstra. That's right.
Yeah, it was a Sunday afternoon. They trade. That's all they did was switch dugouts. It was Juan Samuel for Roger McDowell and Lenny Dykstra. It was
that's right.
One of the all-time great Phillies trades. You know,
it was.
Miko Spencer says, "Man, I can't wait till the old school comes out of the box. Memory lane all over again." Thank you very much. Looking forward to that. Miko Spencer, holy crap! Blue Jays 20, Rays 1. Wow.
What?
And since we're talking a lot of Mets, make sure you check out the Batcave tomorrow morning. Batcave tomorrow, 10 a.m. Great show. Even like I said, I keep it real, man. He's
Big Ken.
I'm a diehard Phillies fan, but I like that show, and even though it's the Mets, I like that show. Just like I like your guys' show on the Cowboys. I love getting the different perspective, you know.
Sure, absolutely.
Miko Spencer, Braves down 4-1 to the Dodgers. Cubs are up 6-1 to the Mets. Well, not good news for not good news for the Batcave right there.
Not at all. Not at all. But sticking with the NL East, I mean, I'm looking at it right now, and I mean, it's crazy because the Marlins and the Mets are like not even like right behind each other, you know, and the Phillies are not far behind. So it's still anybody's except for the Braves, but it's still anybody's division at this point, you know.
Yeah, I mean, so you got Mets are 4.5 out. You got the Marlins right at 500. They're 5-5 in their last 10. They're 5.5 out. Phillies 22-25, 7 out, and then you got the Nationals. Nationals are better than people thought.
20-27, 9
games out. So
yeah.
That's that. Moving on to the Central.
But before we do that, going back to the Braves, they are 4-6 in their last 10. So maybe that's I don't know.
Well, Miko Spencer with a comment here. He says, "What's wrong with the Phillies and with the Mets and the Phillies?" Well, for the Phillies, I think for the Phillies, it's the starting pitching.
I agree.
Starting pitching has been even Wheeler and Nola haven't been Wheeler and Nola, and then you look Bailey Falter was a key part of that rotation last year. He has absolutely sucked.
Well, he was 0-7, and they sent him down to AAA. So
yeah, he sucked. Suarez is coming off an injury, and it's like a trickle down effect because when your starters are only going like 2, 3, 4 innings, your bullpen gets overworked, and next thing you know, those guys, you only got so many bullets in you in a year. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. When you start putting Cody Clemens on the mound, something ain't right.
Yeah, now as far as the Mets, I mean, I'm wondering if maybe Scherzer's starting to show his age, something like that.
Well, what's it called? Pitched ball the other night, though, didn't he? They're the guy from the Astros that they picked up last year.
Verlander doing well.
Justin.
And Cody Senga had a good outing his last time out. Senga overall, and again, he's one of the prospects, but I'll just touch on him real quick right now. Cody Senga, he's got a 3.77 ERA. He's 4-2. only giving up 18 earned runs, 43 innings. He's got 55 Ks. So Cody Senga is going to be a mainstay in that rotation going forward. So the future is bright in some respects for the Mets. And another thing about the Mets, too, they have 2 young guys that they've implemented into their lineup. They got a third baseman by the name of Brett Beatty, who's been playing pretty well. And their catcher, one of the top prospects in baseball, Francisco Alvarez, he started to come on a little bit. So, so that's kind of – Francisco Alvarez has 5 homers, 11 RBIs. He's only hitting 238, but he's got a lot of potential. And Beatty – or I don't know if you call him Beatty or Batty, but anyway.
I think it's Batty. I think it's Batty.
Well, I was going to say, well, he's got a lot of potential. He may be driving some opposing pitchers batty because he's hitting 258. He's got 4 homers and 10 RBIs. So
starting to get hot.
They're for their quote unquote struggles, they're implementing some good young players into their team.
Here come the Mets, Joe. Look out.
Yeah, but you got And Ken Fry will touch on them more on the Batcave. So any Mets fans out there,
what's that song, Joe? Meet the Mets, meet the Mets. Stand up and meet the Mets.
Yeah, meet the Mets, meet the Mets. Yeah, I want to say beat the Mets. But anyway, NL Central. Now my Brewers have been overtaken right now by the Pirates. Well, actually, not really.
Well, actually, they're tied at this point. They're 20.
Yeah, they're tied. They're tied. They're both. Two-way tie, 25 and 22. You got the Cubs right behind them, 20 and 26. They're 4.5 out. But then you got the St. Louis Cardinals. Now, I think we said last week that the Cardinals had way too much talent to be down for so long.
And they do. Yeah, they're only 5 out, Joe.
Yeah, they're 7-3 in their last 10. And if you base it off of last year they were second half team. So
Yep.
Mike Lauro here. Can't wait for Pittsburgh weekend. Yeah, I can't wait for that. We're taking a trip out to Pittsburgh to go to Phillies Pittsburgh.
So there you go.
That'll be a lot of fun.
I've been to Pittsburgh before. I've actually been to that stadium. It was not 3 River. I'm sorry, the other one. Pico Park. PNC Park. Yes, I've been there. In fact, when I was there, quick story. I went with a bunch of friends. They were playing the Braves at the time. We drove all the way out there, and it got rained out.
Oh, wow!
Yeah, we drove 6 hours up there, got rained out, stayed at the hotel, and they said our game was good for the second game of the doubleheader at 4:15. We didn't even wait. We went back home. We couldn't wait that long.
Oh, wow!
Yeah, I know, it was crazy. It was funny because PNC Park just opened up. It was beautiful, right? And the highlight of the night was John Rocker coming out in this wet and he slid across the tarp, and that was the highlight of the whole night.
Wow.
It was crazy, but that's a
bummer going that far. Yeah,
it was funny because we got to the stadium. We got to Pittsburgh about 3:30, 3:45, something like that. Got to the hotel, stayed in there, came back to the stadium, and the next thing you know, at 6:45, it started to pour rain, and it rained for like 3 hours.
That's crazy, man.
Hey, it happened.
I had that happen to me. Now I've been to Camden Yards multiple times, so it wasn't that big a deal. But right. I tried to go to Camden Yards on a Sunday. It was same deal. It got rained out, but we just wound up getting banged up. I mean, we made the best of it, but I mean, I didn't.
Sure.
But we there was like a bar across the street. Well, actually, first we were having drinks at the stadium, and then we went to a bar across the street and just ate some crabs and drank some beers, So
right, gotcha.
It was cool, but I get what you're saying, though. When you're looking forward to like going to a game, you want to have that part of it,
And the funny part was, I wasn't even a Pirates or a Braves fan. I really didn't care. I just went for the ride because I just wanted to go see the park, have a good time with it.
Right.
And we went all the way up there, and it got rained out. I was like,
yeah, bummer. Well, hopefully this doesn't happen. Mako Spencer here. Can't wait. The game, the out of the box sports family, and drinks and barbecue at the crib after. Yes,
sounds like a blast. Sounds like a blast.
But all right. To touch off this NL Central, we got the Reds 20 and 27. They suck, but they're only 5 games out because the division's not that great.
Division's terrible.
Now we got the NL West. Dodgers. Now everybody thought the Dodgers were going to be there. Dodgers 30 and 19, 6 and 4 in the last 10. Diamondbacks still hanging tough, 28-20, 8-2 in their last 10. They're a game and a half out. Giants 23-24. They're 6 games out, 6-4 in their last 10.
Well,
one of the most disappointing teams in baseball so far, San Diego Padres, 21-26, 8 games out.
What is wrong? Well, is Manny still hurt?
I'm not sure, but I know they're not playing well. I mean, eight games out. They're only a game. They're closer to last. They're only a game and a half up on the Rockies.
Yeah.
Rockies are 20-28, 4-6 in their last 10.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, but actually, I think that Giants, the Giants actually had that big burst when didn't they sweep the Phils in 3? Wasn't that?
Yeah, the Phils never play. The Phils, when they go to San Francisco, man, they get distracted by the coconut oil.
You said that, okay. Machado still in the island. I thought he was. I wasn't sure.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Eileen.
All right, so that touches off our division. I want to go over some power rankings, but you know what though, real quick, a quick question about the Padres.
Mm-hmm.
Are we still thinking it's early, or are we getting concerned a little bit about the Padres?
I want to say it's early. I really do, because I think because they can go on a run any time. But right now, I am kind of concerned. I got to be honest. I am kind of concerned because without Manny, they're losing a big bat in the lineup.
Well, Eileen C right here. He said he has what they called a small hand fracture, and then Miko Spencer with a question for me. He says, before we go any further, what jersey are we rocking tonight? Okay, so this is a Pedro Martinez Montreal Expos jersey.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, so I obviously as a Phillies fan, I never was an Expos fan, but let's keep it real. This is kind of a retro, John. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I found this on eBay. I found it for a nice little deal on eBay, and I figured, you know what? I mean, yes, they're technically the Nationals now, but I think I love this jersey. Like, I love their color. I love the jersey, and Pedro. Pedro is an all-time great. And by the way, Pedro was really good here in Philly that year.
Pedro was good here. He was very good here.
Pedro was good, man, and
he was good with the Red Sox too. So,
yeah, you know what's funny? Remember Coming to America?
I do.
All right. So when Pedro was killing it in the down the towards the 09, I used every time Pedro would do good, I would send remember because Pedro had the Jerry curl kind of.
Yes.
So I used to send the Soul Glow John to some of my friends. I'd be like, Pedro's on the mound tonight, and I put Soul Glow, Soul Glow.
Soul Glow, yes. Is that like when he was watching the TV? Says like, Soul Glow.
Oh, it was great.
Great. Yes, I remember that.
That was great. And then the other one that was fucking awesome too was he was like, oh, sexual chocolate. He's like, that boy good,
Oh, Joe, man, bring back great movie, Coming to America.
Oh, it was
amazing,
great.
amazing.
But anyway, yeah.
So Glow, Mike said So Glow.
They don't make movies. You know what? They don't make movies like that no more.
They don't.
I mean,
No.
there were so many great movies. Like, first off, how great was it too? Where he's like, "Why?" He's like, "Good morning, New York," and they're like, hey. He's like,
"Fuck you,"
And then of course the guys in the barbershop where he's talking about Rocky Marciano. Bro, Rocky Marciano would beat his. Oh, all you guys. He's like, Joe Louis would beat Rocky Marciano's ass. You know what I mean? Like,
you got me going. You got me going now. It's funny.
But Speaking of teams that would beat other teams' ass, how about if we get into some power rankings here?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
All right. So let's see. All right. So here's my power rankings. I got I mean, I'm kind of boring. Let's keep it real. I kind of went chalk.
I think we all are. But go ahead.
I got Tampa first, Baltimore second, Texas third, Atlanta fourth, Dodgers fifth, Yankees sixth, Houston 7, Arizona 8, Milwaukee 9, Minnesota 10. Milwaukee's been struggling, but I'm still high on Milwaukee, even though they're only 3 over 500. I still think by the end of the year they're going to be tough.
Don't count out that Brew Crew. Don't count the Brew Crew out because they're always in there. It seems like they're always in there, like within September and October. It's kind of weird.
Don't count the Brew Crew out. So
I'm
let's
just saying, don't do it. You
Oh,
know.
I know. Yeah, definitely. So,
You know,
yeah, let's check out your power rankings here.
it should be interesting. There you go. Okay, I got Tampa, Atlanta, of course. Orioles are playing really well. I
Right.
can't get over how good. All right, Texas, Dodgers, Astros, Yankees, Arizona, Brew Crew, of course, and I got the Boston Red Sox in there.
Okay. Well,
You
hey,
know,
no argument. And I'll tell you what, guy that's really playing well for the Red Sox is that rookie. The rookie from where the hell is it here? The rookie from I believe it's from Japan, Yoshida.
yeah,
He's
okay.
He's hitting 308 with 6 homers and 29 RBIs. He is a real big part of that team.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And Mike Laura here, he said the Buccos, baby. Yeah, you know what? I was just thinking that we both left them off, and but then again, you know what though? I probably would take them over the Twins. You know what, Mike? I probably would take them over the Twins. But
Mike, I'm with you. I'm with you at the Buccos. I really am, but I still think the Brewers are just. I don't know. It's kind of that division is really weird.
Oh, I think
really,
I think the Brewers are a better team. I think the Brewers are a better team. I mean, Pittsburgh's a nice story. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I hear you.
But like I said earlier, Mike, if you're listening to the show, and I really appreciate you chiming in and everything. But I still think the Cardinals are going to make a run. Something's telling me that the Cardinals don't count them out. Because I mean, you never know.
Especially on those hot Midwestern Saturday, Sunday afternoons down there in St. Louis, where like down on the field it's like 120 degrees humidity. You got Goldschmidt and Arenado hitting bombs. You know what I'm saying?
I'm kind of bummed because I'm actually going to St. Louis in June 21st to the 22nd, something like that. We're going to a retirement party for a friend who lives out there, and I'm really bummed because the Cardinals are not in town that weekend because I was really going to go, but what are you going to do?
Oh, that would have been pretty cool.
Yeah, I was looking forward to it. We were all going to go to the game, but they're not in town that weekend, so.
Yeah, to touch on the coming to America, Miko Spencer and I talked about this. He said we talked about the White Men Can't Jump last night. Yeah, like how they remake these movies and they blow. It's
so hard to remake a movie that's so good the first time. It is.
Yeah. Miko Spencer here. It's crazy. It's crazy they called Yoshida the Babe Ruth of Japan. That's a stretch, but an honor. Yeah, I could see that. And then
sure.
Mike Lauro says don't count out Seattle either. Yeah, I know.
I've been saying that, Mike. I really have. I think Seattle is going to make a run too. I really do. Because like I said, back last year, if you remember, they made a run in that wild card spot, and they did. I mean, I'm not counting them out. Any stretch.
Yeah. So anyway, yes. All right. So we got our power rankings. How about if we go over? How about if we go over the future of this game? How about if we go over a couple prospects? I know you guys. I know you had a couple guys in mind that you wanted to touch on.
I did. It's so funny you should say that. I was looking. I was kind of scrolling. I didn't go in order or anything. I was just going and scrolling. I found this kid Kyle Harrison. He's a left-handed pitcher for the Giants. He's 21 years old. He's 6'2", 200 pounds. He's a AAA guy. His fastball is 65. His slider is 60. I mean. And his changeup's only 55. But I mean, like I said, the kid. I was watching videos of this kid. Kid's not bad. I mean, check him out. I mean, he's AAA for the Giants. I mean, who knows? Maybe the kid's got a future, and I really think he does. So I mean,
okay.
And this other kid I was looking up, Tremar Johnson. He's second baseman. He's Pirates, single A. He's only 18 years old. I mean, this kid's got a future ahead of him. I mean, he's 5'8", 175. And he's a second baseman, so who knows? Maybe the kid, his future looks bright too. It really does. So that's all I got so far.
All right. So I have the usual suspects here. I got Jordan Walker of St. Louis. He's hitting 274, 2 homers, 11 RBIs. He's actually ranked as the top prospect in baseball right now. Guy for the Orioles, again, I keep waiting for this guy to break out. And as good as the Orioles are, Gunnar Henderson still only hitting 192, 4 homers, 8 RBIs. Still waiting on him to break out. Guy that is coming on a little bit is Anthony Volpe of the Yankees. He's only hitting 212, but he's got 7 homers, 19 RBIs. He's got 13 stolen bases, so the kid's got some speed. I touched on Alvarez already of the Mets. He's coming on a little bit, 238, 5 homers, 11 RBIs. Here's a guy right here, Uri Perez of the Marlins. They just called him up. He's a young kid. He's only like 20 years old, but he's had 2 starts, pitched well so far. He's got a 2.79 ERA. And then, of course, so those are some of the young guys there. You got a guy for the Red Sox. He's a top 3 prospect. You got this guy Mayer. He's down at A plus ball. He's hitting 308, 5 homers, 27 RBIs. And then I got another guy, James Wood of the Nats.
I saw him. I saw him. I was going to put him down there, but I didn't.
He's still only an A plus ball. High A. He's hitting 267, 5 homers, 9 RBIs. But those guys are some of the young guys that are possibly going to be coming up in the coming, maybe not necessarily the guys in low A. I mean, not necessarily this year, but maybe in the coming years. And also, more importantly, they could be some guys that you could see at the trade deadline. Being traded. You know what I'm saying? Here we go. Miko Spencer says, years away, but I can't wait to see Yu Darvish's kid. He's 15, throwing balls at 70 miles per hour with 3 pitches with command, slider, splitter, and fastball. Yeah, and the one thing Yu Darvish is extremely smart. So if he's working with his son, he's gonna teach him the art of pitching. Because let's be honest, man. I mean, you can have $1 million arm and a 10-cent head. I mean,
this is true.
All right, perfect example. I know he did a little better in Boston, but Nick Pivetta. I mean, the Phillies. Nick Pivetta had one of the best arms in Major League Baseball. In fact, that's why he stuck with the Phillies for so long. They kept waiting for him to break out. Now, again, he had a little bit of success with Boston, but from what I understand, he's back to being Nick Pivetta this year.
Yeah, well,
and that's a guy.
But he struggled with the Phils a lot, didn't he? I mean, didn't he? I mean, he was a.
Well, I was going to say they kept waiting for him to break out, and it just goes to show you have to know how to pitch. Like a guy like Nick Pivetta had 1,000,000 times better arm than a guy like Jamie Moyer, but Jamie Moyer knew how to set guys up and get guys out.
This is true.
And ironically, a lot of people would get this wrong, but. Jamie Moyer was the leading win getter of the 2008 World Champion Philadelphia Phillies.
I believe it.
Anybody and their mom would say Cole Hamels, but Jamie Moyer won 16 games that year.
I was gonna say Mr. 65 miles an hour.
Yeah, you know who Jamie Moyer used to kill? He used to kill the Marlins. Remember the Marlins had a lot of young hitters, and they'd be up there, and you could tell they were just. Like the ball was so slow, they were up there just ready to jack, and they'd be way out in front of it, popping up and grounding out and stuff.
Well, isn't he from Seattle?
Well, no, he's from this area.
Okay. I thought did he live in Seattle or something?
He pitched for Seattle for
Seattle. That's right. Okay, he pitched for Mariners. Okay.
He was on that 2001 all-time winning Mariners team.
That's right. I knew he had something to do with Seattle. I wasn't sure exactly what he was.
I think Jamie Moyer's from is he from Souderton?
Maybe. I don't know for sure.
I forget the exact area, but he's from up off of like 309, I believe. He's from up that way. I forget exactly the town, but anyway. So all right, you know what? We're gonna get ready to wrap up in a little bit, but before we do, let's touch off the last part of the 10 best catchers, and then let's get into this closer list that you wanted to get into.
Yes, absolutely. I was with the closers. I was going over some closers, but I didn't go all-time closers. I was going actually this year's closers.
Oh, yeah, that's what I meant. I'm sorry. This year's closer. Yeah, we were doing all-time catchers. Yeah, but this year's closers. Yeah. All right.
I had that kid.
Who were your top? What do you want to do?
Right now, I had that kid, Emmanuel Clace, from the Guardians. Okay, I know he's 1-4, but he has an ERA of 3.38, and he's got 16 saves. So I mean, kid's pretty decent from what I was reading. My next one would be Carlos Estevez.
Okay.
Okay, kids. He's only 1-1, but he's at an ERA of 1.23. He's got 12 saves. For the Angels. My next guy is Camilo Doval. I'm sure you've heard of him, right?
Yeah.
Okay, he's 1-2, ERA 2.08. He's got 12 saves. For the Giants.
Okay.
And my next one is Felix Batista. He's 3-1. He's got an ERA of 1.17. He's got 11 saves with the Orioles. And my last one is Josh Hader, of course, from the Padres. I mean, he's got 11 saves, but I mean his ERA is 0.95. So,
that's unbelievable. Yeah. So, I mean, my list is pretty much similar. I mean, I'm going Josh Hader because of the 0.95 ERA. Plus, he's been dominant for a long time.
Right.
He's got 11 saves. So I'm going Josh Hader, number one. Felix Bautista of Baltimore. I mean, he's been like unhittable. He's got like a 1.17 ERA. He's been killing it. I'm gonna go. Alex. This guy's on a terrible team, but I'm gonna go Alexis Diaz of the Reds. He's got 10 saves and 0 blown saves. He's got a 1.93 ERA. I mean, the kid's been unhittable. Then I'm going to go the kid from the Angels, Carlos Estevez, because he's got a 1.23 ERA, 12 saves, 0 blown saves.
Yep.
And then I'm going to go the kid from the Giants, Camilo Doval. He's got a 2.08, 12 saves, only 1 blown save. So they're my top 5. And honorable mention, I want to say too, and this actually, David Robertson. Now, this is ironic. For some reason, he had 2 stints with the Phillies, and he struggled both times with the Phillies. You put him up at the Hudson up. There must be something in the Hudson River because he was great with the Yankees. He was like their top setup man for a number of years. Yeah, and now he goes to the Mets. David Robertson, honorable mention. He's got 8 saves, only 1 blown save, 2-0 with a 1.27. So that's
crazy.
Yeah, I mean, because he struggled for us,
Yeah, well, some pitchers do that. I mean, they fit in with other teams better than others. We've seen that before.
Perfect example of that. Sonny Gray. Sonny Gray has been really good for a number of teams. He went to the Yankees and he struggled mightily in New York.
Wasn't he a Red too?
Yeah, and he pitched well for the Reds.
Yes, I'm saying he pitched well for. Like I said, so it happens.
You know what? Some guys just can't take that big city pressure, whether it's Philadelphia or New York or Boston. Like some of these big northeastern cities, some of these guys can't take that pressure. You put them in a Cincinnati or you put them in a Minnesota or whatever, and they flourish.
According to Mako Spencer, Moyer's from Sellersville.
Yeah, I was going to say I knew it began with an S, and I was saying Souderton, but yeah, Sellersville. That's correct.
Sellersville. Okay.
Miko Spencer has a question for you, Dave.
Let's go on June 16th. Anything special? Oh yeah, June 16th. I wasn't going to bring that up, but a new wrestling show is coming June 16th. It's called the Atomic Drop Podcast. June 16th, come 10:30. Check us out. You might like what you like. Old school wrestling. Give us a shot. Give us a shout out. Wow.
Yeah, and you know what? And if you don't like it, you're going to get an atomic wedgie. How about that? There, take that.
There you go. I like that.
So anyway, we got and by the way, if you do get an atomic wedgie, and you get an atomic wedgie, and you want to have a lawsuit, My man Jason Fine will help you get compensated for getting that atomic wedgie. Okay, my Jason Fine, aka Attorney Big Al. We got slip and fall, workers' compensation, personal injury claims, which again could be an atomic wedgie. Call Jason 24/7 directly at 267-962-4895 or Miko at 267-303-7324 for free consultation. He's got 3 different offices. So, you're in luck if you get that. If you're in Philadelphia, Cherry Hill, or Pittsburgh, and you get atomic wedgie, you're in luck. If you're somewhere else, you might have a problem. You know what? you better learn how to give an atomic bomb.
Well, check us out. Atomic Bomb, June 16th, coming your way, 10:30 Friday nights.
You know what's so funny? I was so busy talking about the atomic wedgies. I was like, shit, what was the name of that show again? I'm thinking about atomic bombs now.
You and wedgies. I don't know what's going on with that, but
I don't know, man. Who knows?
What's on your mind, Sully?
Who knows? Mike Lauro says June 23rd is his birthday. All right.
Oh, happy birthday, Mike. 21 again, Mike. Is that what it is?
Yeah, happy birthday. Well, you know what? I think might have to be calling Mike around that time. Oh, here we go. Miko Spencer, damn, I just got a call. Someone has a wedgie. Damn, they were from Boston. Sorry.
Oh man.
Well, the whole Massachusetts, the whole New England area is getting ready to call Jason Fine to complain about the They're wondering
what's happening with the Phillies? Are they still at 3-3? Do we know?
I don't know. I'll look it up. But you know what? While I'm looking it up, how about if we close out with our last 5 catchers here?
5 catchers. You know what? I left my list upstairs, but I know what I want to do. I got this. Okay. Did I say? Okay. Let's go with
4-3 Diamondbacks won.
They won.
Damn, Phillies suck.
Oh man, rough.
I'll tell you what. We better start playing some. I mean, I know people. A lot of people are like, "Oh, it's early. I'll tell you, it's only early for so long. Then all of a sudden, it starts getting late. You know what I mean? It's time to start playing some baseball.
I hear you. This is true. Did I say Pudge Rodriguez? Did I go with him this week?
You
I don't
did.
remember.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have my 5 by any chance? Because I don't my list upstairs.
I don't. You know what? We could go back to that next week. That's fine.
Okay, that's fine. Yes, we'll do it next week. Yes.
All right, because I don't have my list either, but I had some honorable mention. I had some honorable mention, like I had like if I was going into all-time catcher leaders, I would say like Darren Daulton, Yadier Molina.
Yeah,
certain guys that were all-time leaders.
Did we mention Carlton Fisk by any chance?
Oh yeah, he was in the top 5.
Top 5, that's right, he was. Okay.
Yeah, and Carlton Fisk of the famous home run, of course, and one of the key little background stories of Good Will Hunting.
Yes, correct.
That was actually a really great part of Good Will Hunting was when he talks about when Robin Williams talks about how he met his wife.
Did we mention Buster Posey?
I don't know. We didn't mention Buster Posey, but you know what's funny? I had him on my list actually.
Did we mention Piazza?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll get. Let's get into that next week.
Okay. Sounds good.
Here we go. Two more comments, and then we'll get ready to roll here.
Okay.
We got Miko Spencer, halftime Celtics down 56-50. Here comes wedgie season. We need to expand Boston. We need to expand the Boston 1-800-HURT 123.
Hey, they're not dead yet. They're only down 6. They're still in it.
Eileen C. Most Red Sox fans mad. John Henry cares more about the Liverpool team than the Red Sox. Yeah. Maybe. I was going to say maybe he should try to call Billy Beane again, but I think that ship's kind of sailed. The luster on Billy Beane is kind of going off the rails,
Yep, I agree.
So,
yes.
All right. Well,
you ready to wrap it up?
Yeah. So I guess we'll get ready to wrap up here. Any closing thoughts? I guess I guess hope maybe by this time next week the Phillies could actually, I don't know, maybe win more than like 2-0 and have a good streak.
They're going through a gauntlet right now. I mean, they got the Braves and I think the Mets, and that's going to be real rough. So,
yeah, I was about to say that. You look. I mean, tomorrow they got to go against Zach Gallen, one of the best young pitchers in baseball. Then, like you said, then they got the Braves and the Mets. So,
isn't that Braves a 4-game series, if I'm not mistaken?
I believe so. So I'm looking. They could go from 7 out to like 10, 11,
10 or 11
real quick.
Yeah, yep.
You know what? I want to check something real quick. Okay, wow. So, well, that big matchup between Baltimore and the Yankees, the Orioles are up 5-4 in the top of the ninth. So we'll see here, because that's a huge series right there.
I'm telling you, the Orioles are for real. So we've been saying that.
Orioles are for real. And all right, well, anyway, we're gonna get out of here. Dave, it's been real. Good time again.
So always fun with you, man. Always.
Yeah, I love reminiscing about some of the old times too. And
absolutely.
Good luck to anybody out there. It's in fantasy leagues. Hope your players are doing well. And like I said, good luck to everybody, but the Braves, Mets, Nationals, and Marlins. No, I'm just kidding. All right. Have a great week, everybody. We'll see you next week.
See y'all. Take care.
Later.